Today I am in Capalbio at the estate of Tenuta Monteti with Eva Baratta and Javier Pedrazzini, that they are the owners and the people that takes care of the production of these wines. And let's hear some your story and how this winery born in this part of the Tuscany.
Well, actually, next year, 2023, it's going to be 25 years from the foundation of the estate. In 1998, my mother and father bought this property that you can perhaps almost see in the back, and they started this great adventure. It was a big bet. The aim was trying to produce very high quality and special wines into, at the time, unknown area of Tuscany, in very south of Tuscany. And we arrived in this, after a long search, we arrived in this small valley where there was nothing, there was just pasture land. So we have to prepare the land, prepare the soil, plant everything. And it was a long process, but done with a great ambition, but also great humility. Is it right?
Humility.
Humility, because we were focused on researching and see if we were right of thinking this area could bring and reveal great chances of make good wines and very special wines. So I think that after 25 years we can say we have achieved something.
We are still in Maremma, isn't it?
It's a very southern corner of the Maremma.
Exactly.
We are just a few kilometers from Lazio and 15 kilometers from the sea, and it's a very Mediterranean terroir.
Yes. Still Maremma, but without any history of winemaking. That is
yes.
the big challenge. How is the climate in this area? And how does this microclimate of your area influence on the production of your wines and the final taste?
Well, it's quite a hot area. Luckily, we are in the first hills from the coast. We are 150 meters above the sea level, the vines. And but we have to pay a great homage to the Monteti hill. That's why we call Tenuta Monteti. The Monteti hill is very important because create a sort of corridor of the north-south ventilation throughout the years and throughout in every season, which is very important for us because even if it's very hot, at night the temperatures lower down quite a bit, but this gentle ventilation throughout the day, it keeps the vine very healthy and help a healthy growth.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit about your wines. You're producing 3 wines, 1 rosé and 2 reds. Just a quick description of what you're doing, and then we will pass the tasting.
Well, we've started with a very strict project that was doing just 2 reds, because we wanted to focus really to what could be the identity of the estate. So just the 2 reds, Monteti and Cabugno. And then thinking about their seeds so close by, we decided to add a rosé, not a white, because we consider that this is not the proper climate, but a rosé, a very good rosé wine. And so in this aspect, I think that we almost cover the description of our area. Each wine in our aim is dedicated to one aspect of our land. So the idea that you are here, and if you taste our wines, you can just look outside our window and perfectly understand what we are talking about, because you see it around you.
Excellent. And which is the average aging potential of your wines, of your red wine?
Yeah, it's up to you. The aging, it's up to you.
Aging potential. So clearly we do wines of high quality, so that can last in time for very long. Actually, what we do with Monteti, our most important wine, is to release it, relaunch it after 10 years in the bottle, and the wine is incredibly fresh and young. So we think that the aging potential is far beyond 20, 25 years for the Monteti, and for Caburnio, easily 15 to 20. The rosé is we like the rosé the first year after the vintage, but we enjoy it very much for the other two years at least.
Excellent. So the winery will be 25 years old next year, but which was the first vintage that you bottled?
The first vintage was 2004, the year in which we inaugurated the winery, the winery itself. So it was the 2004 vintage, but put into commerce in 2007.
Yes, because of the aging, the bottle, and all the process. So tell us a little bit about the fermentation process and the vinification, the particular kind of vinification that I saw a lot of tanks in the cellar. So it's very interesting. Let's talk a little bit about that.
I would say that all the winery was tailor-made on the vineyard. So we have 28 hectares of vineyard, and we have 28 fermentation vats in the vat cellar. So that means that the vinification is parcel by parcel and batch by batch. And each one will be kept separate during the whole process of vinification and aging. So for at least 2 years, each component of our blends is kept separate in order to give the kind of aging more suitable to its own nature. And after this 1 year and a half, 2 years, we start blending them. So we actually produce 28 different wines in order to produce 2 labels.
This is a nice job. It's a really big job. So you planted 24 years ago, so the vines are 24 years old at this point.
More or less, yes. Because we started planting year by year. We did a batch the year after another batch.
Excellent.
So it took 3 years to plant all the 28 hectares.
How you can observe, obviously, after all this experience, your vineyard? Do you think that you have specific issues, health issues for the vines that you have to affront every year? And how do you affront them? How do you solve this problem?
In all these years, 25 years of agronomic work, we have more and more decided to have a light hand on the nature. So we have tried to reduce treatments. We have the help of some technological tools and also personal knowledge, and that's why it was so important to year after year do great research. So we try to have a very light hand. We use, for example, insects to fight parasites. Not to use any kind of product. And so I can say that we are in a very good position. We don't have very healthy problems. It's just the climate. The climate can be, but this is something that we can't control.
Yes.
So we have some very wet vintage or some very dry vintage. We are coping with the extremes now. But in general, with from a healthy point of view, we are in a very good position. Yes.
Excellent. I know that you have a lot of awards during all these years, but which is the award that you are particularly proud of?
Well, I think it was quite striking this year to receive from the Concours Mondial de Bruxelles a double medal. A double medal for Caburnio and Monteti, the same vintage, which is the 2017, which I can assure you was most difficult vintage we ever saw,
Yes,
because it was
hot,
very dry
dry.
from the winter on. And so we were even asking ourselves, are we going to make some wine this year? And we, thanks to Javier, who works a lot in the selection during the harvest time, we managed to have the two wines and two great wines, and that's why I think this medal is the one we shared with all the group with the most joy. No?
So nice. Which are your export markets around the world? I know that you are exporting a lot, but where are you present actually?
Well, we export in almost in every continent, but our main market is no doubt Canada and United States. And following, I would say Europe, many countries in Europe, and Asia. Asia with Japan and Korea mostly.
Excellent. I think we have said enough, but if you want to add something to close this interview, we
Well,
can
perhaps
pass
that we can
this.
tell that many years ago, before the term was so fashionable, we started a sustainability program with the Ministry of Environment, and it's from now, I think, 2016 that we getting this certificate of sustainability for the estate. Because this was important for us to also tell about the care that we have not only about, in making our wines, but the care we feel and we apply to the maintenance of the property, of the terroir and the landscape and the environment, of course. So this is the...
And is it particularly difficult to obtain this certification?
Well, it's a long process, because actually you have to collect all the data from what you do in the field, how water you give to the plants, even the kind of confectionery material that you use, how meters of tape you use to close your your cases. So it takes put your job under scrutiny from any single detail, from the vineyard to the confectioning of the case, bottle case. So it's a long and very interesting, because every time you learn something, that you can prove something.
And Javier was telling me that you have to improve every year. You have to do better every year,
Yes.
just to make the difference. If not,
Yes.
excellent. Yeah, it's very interesting.
So this is it.